let's face it, mosquitoes are a menace. You don't want them in your yard. You don't want them biting you. Who knows what disease you're going to get from them. So without great alternatives, I use a fogger like this. Now, we use a solution of this Balck Flag fogging insecticide. Now, is it really healthy for you? The best, probably not. Let's be honest. Anytime you spray an aerosol in the air, you probably don't want to breathe it and get it into your lungs. But the alternative is being bit by mosquitoes. So let's weigh it out. We're going to use this Burgess fogger right here with a propane tank, the reservoir, and we're going to go through a couple other alternatives that you may want to use instead of chemicals. Okay, so our first step is to turn on the propane. You use a little propane tank like this. You can probably hear the propane, and be careful and light it. Just like that. And now you're going to leave it lit for about, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds or so. So it gets hot so that when you start pumping in the chemical, that's propane, the chemical, it actually kind of turns it into a fog instead of just spitting out the fluid, which is no good. You'll see when it turns white. Turn the safety off here. There you go. Now I know I said that you need to wear a mask. I'm going to take one for the team here and not use it. Normally I cover up. I'm going to probably use my shirt, but I want to be able to talk too. So here we go. First thing I do is I do the perimeter, and then I work my way in. That way it kind of just covers everything from mosquitoes. You don't want to start, you don't want to go haphazard. So let's start at the edge, and we're going to work our way in, and then I'm going to give you a few more pointers. So when you're done, you just turn off the propane, which will cause the smoke to go back to liquid. Again, not a great idea to breathe this. I'm doing this for you. So a couple things. One, it will be very effective for mosquitoes for the first couple hours, but then they'll start to come back. If you want to do long-term, get rid of the mosquitoes, you need to do probably 3 or 4 treatments over the course of a week. You got to kind of like destroy their life cycle. So you get in, and then that way you get the mommies and the daddies, so they don't have the baby mosquitoes and so forth. So then you do like a maintenance like once a week, and then that's pretty effective actually for getting rid of mosquitoes. Like you'll still see some, but not many. So that's a great way of getting rid of them. Now use some common sense, please. I didn't wear a mask. I'm not showing common sense right there. But again, I normally do. Don't spray a bunch of honeybees, right? Don't spray bumblebees. So things that are, good for us, things that we want to have, try to be smart, right? And I know it's hard. We're going to kill probably some other bugs along with mosquitoes, which is unfortunate. But it's mainly designed for mosquitoes. So, but it's mainly designed for mosquitoes and most of the flying pests. So that's what it's going to kill. But don't try to kill other things. Don't go and start spraying honeybees and bumblebees and butterflies and things that we want, right? So if you see a bunch of them in your yard, don't do it. Next, don't spray it directly on a lot of trees. I have killed a tree. Again, common sense, sometimes I don't use it. But don't spray it right directly on a tree, it'll choke it out. So those are a couple of the pointers I have. Keep your kids and pets, inside probably for 10 to 15 minutes after you're done. Just give it a chance to settle down and, get it out of the air. You'll tell when you don't really smell it that it's kind of gone. So keep your kids and pets away. And that's kind of the crux of it. Now, there are other ways to prevent mosquitoes. One's mosquito traps. I did a video where I evaluated mosquito traps about It's been over 10 years, and it uses a full-size propane tank. And what it does is it burns a little bit of propane to create a CO2. And the CO2 is actually what draws in the mosquitoes. That's why they are attracted to our breath, right? They see all the CO2 being emitted, and they're like, "Oh, let's go there. That's a dinner for us." So if you mimic that CO2 to come in, and you can capture them. So that's what these mosquito traps do. They're effective if you find a spot that's mosquito heavy. So again, the key is to interrupt the life cycle of the mosquitoes, so that you capture enough that you actually prevent them from having larvae and multiplying and multiplying and multiplying. So it's effective, but it's kind of a pain because you have to have a full-size propane tank. It's not always super effective. There were days I would catch like 3 mosquitoes. Anyhow, that's that with those tanks. They're kind of expensive. The propane, I can't remember exactly how long. I think you get about 3 to 4 weeks out of a tank. So it's an option. Probably not a great option unless, probably a decent option if you combine it with this. But by itself, I didn't find it to be terribly effective. Finally, one other option is these mosquito lights that emit like a blue UV type light, and it hits a coating, and that coating emits CO2, and that will draw in mosquitoes into a trap. And again, it works because that's kind of the science of it. You know, mosquitoes like CO2. They come in, they fly into a trap, and boop, they're gone. They can't escape. However, I find that they are much more effective indoors. So if for some reason you have a big mosquito problem inside and you need to like get rid of them, that's a pretty good alternative, is using these mosquito lights. Outside, if you have them like on a deck or something like that, maybe if they're far away, it'd be effective. But if they're close, it's just going to bring mosquitoes closer to you, which I don't really think is good, right? They're going to see the CO2 and they're like, let's fly in, let's fly in. And they're like, oh, here's a light that's emitting CO2. Oh, look at that dude right there. Oh, he's big. Ooh, look at all that CO2. Let's bite him. And so, anyhow, if you're inside, maybe it's pretty well. Works pretty effective. If you have a real big deck or something, you put it off in the corner, maybe it'll work, but I don't think it's going to do enough to really move the bar. So, hey, tell me some of your ideas that you have for eliminating mosquitoes and other pests in your yard, so you can enjoy your yard without worrying about, getting West Nile virus or some other kind of, bloodborne illness that's in a mosquito. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think. And remember to subscribe. So I imagine everyone's going to agree with my method on this one. I'm kind of with them. I don't like using that chemical more than I have to. If I'm not going to be outside much for a month or two, I don't use it at all. But if we're going to have a lot of kids over, or we're going to do something where mosquitoes are going to be a big problem, then I'll fire it up and try to cut them down using the best precautions that I can. But let me know what you do, and I'd be happy to hear it. Thanks.